What's up, everyone? So we're back with Yancy, another episode of our segment of Yin and Yancy. Again, it's just to share our candid, organic conversations and blending our perspectives together, coming from an athlete perspective, coming from a coach or practitioner perspective. So, yeah. Before I even know what we're going to talk about, you had something on your mind. Yep. So this is completely organic. Never talked about this before. So what's your question?
First and foremost, bro, I've always been a martial artist and a fighter. Then I learned how to use athleticism and be an athlete because I never was one. I had to learn how to use all this explosion and all that, understand it over the course of it. But now that I understand it better, I come to see myself respecting and admiring a lot more sports because I'm not a sports fan. I don't go on Sundays and watch football or basketball or baseball. I have people I admire. I have professional friends that play and I admire them. Hockey, all of it. I look at it now in a general source of stimulation and how is that human doing that?
Yeah.
Right, like for me, it's more than just that's the best NBA player. I'm like, how is this guy performing like that?
Yeah.
Why is he? And I'm not this. Things just catch my eye, and I just want to know why.
Yes.
Yeah, so here, basketball.
Uh-huh.
I may be even saying their names wrong right now. Okay, the dude from the Denver.
Yeah.
What's his name? The center. Huh?
Jokic,
bro, and Luka.
Yeah.
Bro, they play on their own pace.
Yeah.
Look at a short European dude, and he looks like he's Lionel Messi. Freaking just do it, running through the court his own way. It's not even fast, bro. It's just I'm like, bro, how do you beat to a different tune, bro? You know what I'm saying? All these guys just change the game, and they don't look athletic. Yeah. They ain't got the arms. They just look like regular guys. Just skills. It's just down pat, And I'm just like, wow, I admire that compared to you see Curry. They're all greats too. LeBron James. They look like LeBron James. That's an athlete. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But then you look at Luka and the Jovic dude, and these guys just regular dudes, right? Just hunch all these skills. I'm like, how does it imply like that? Even what is that one dude? The dude from San Antonio Spurs. 7'5", he's a kid, Bro, he's another European dude, bro. Just 7'5", bro. One of the most athletic 7'5" guys I've seen, bro.
Basically, how are they doing what they do?
Yeah, because it's just different from the whole spiel of what's going on.
Yeah. I think this is a good question. This is gonna. Got a lot of thoughts about this. So,
right.
For one thing, right, I think we can't dismiss all the other factors that make them great, including genetics, including how their work ethic, their practice, all of these other things that we don't know, right, or we can't measure. And I think basically, if I were to give an analogy, right, the one thing that kind of surprises us, unfortunately, is, we're judging a book by its cover, right? Oh, they don't look the part, but how in the world are they doing that, right? Yeah. And I think that shows you that, and it's not that they're not athletic or not fit, they just don't look like your prototypical person that responds well to strength and conditioning or weightlifting or training, right? That their physique or aesthetics are low body fat, right? A lot of lean body mass and all of that. But just
a typical athlete has a fitter look, right? Yeah.
But those things, the aesthetic part, that does not. Yes, with all the training and stuff, you're going to get more fit looking in general, but that does not directly translate to their sports skill or sports performance, right? And you see that a lot of times in all different sports, right? MMA included. You see guys as they don't look as physically daunting, I guess, right? With muscle, but it's technique wise and fighting skill wise and all of that, they're on a different level than everyone else. Right. And I think you see that in every other sport, basketball, soccer, volleyball, or whatever. You have these atypical physiques, right, or aesthetics, but that means nothing that they're not training how they should, or they're not talented, or whatever it is, right? So the bottom line, like how to answer that is that I think training for that lean body mass, athletic physique, that is completely different at times to training to be good at your strengths in your sport, right? And yes, there's some overlap. You know, you're not going to have someone that doesn't train look like something, right? Most of the time.
Yeah.
But I think the bottom line is that, again, going back to that simple analogy, right? Don't judge a book by its cover, because there's so many other things that go into sports performance than just how physically strong you are or how low your body fat is, right?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying too, but like that's what I'm saying, because it's like when they play, they're not even playing like they look like they're using athleticism. You know what I'm saying? Like the way it takes, but I'm just saying it didn't look like, bro. How come 10 guys on the field and you look different from those 10 guys? Like what? And for me, it's like, what is the formula? It's not even the fact like I'm just like, oh, how is he doing that? Because you know, like you just look different. Like you just, bro, like you see it differently. Right.
And some of that, it could just be like, honestly, I hate to say this. Don't get me wrong, they all work hard, they all do this stuff, but they could just be
a knack, right? Like,
they could be a natural, and that's what their body
responds to.
They respond.
I definitely relate with that, because that's just like how I am in jiu-jitsu. Like it's just a little different. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like I have to, like that's things that I have to like watch and like you know, like I finally try, like I don't really like filming myself, but that's probably one of the best things I do to understand me more, because I'm more of a feel guy, like you know, like I can you know, like I can grapple with my eyes closed in the sense that I feel comfortable enough, maybe not with a world guy, but I'm saying like enough to where like, oh, like that's not something out of my realm. So I think the feel is a big thing, but it's like you're dealing with 4 other people. My sport is just me and you back right here. Like, you know,
actually super interesting, because that's your perspective too, from an athlete perspective outside of your sport, or even in MMA, right? You see people that it's like, oh, you're moving like way more fluid or whatever natural than other people. And I think for me, maybe I don't think about it as much, so this is a good question. But for me, I might not express it to all of you guys, but you know, sometimes like even in passing, if I tell you, show me what you have to do, or what felt weird, or what felt like weak, or whatever, right? Sometimes I ask you, and when you show me and I look at that, I mean, oftentimes I'm like surprised or impressed. I'm like, how are you moving like that, right? And it shows that, again, all of the factors. You've been doing this your whole life. You have a lot of practice. You have, you know, whatever you want to. You have the skill set to carry out this movement super efficiently, right? But there's also other things where I put athletes in other movement patterns. It's like they're basic, right? They're doing the most fundamental level. So for example, like, I don't know, you even told me before, like other sports, right? Like if I told you, here, go pop this ball, throw this baseball, right? It's not something that you normally do, or you don't have that.
I don't know
pattern.
what mechanisms I need. Some people going though,
but
kick it. I'm like, oh, like.
If I tell you to kick the heavy bag, it's like so natural. To me, like even when you show me some like shadow boxing, it's like, how are you doing that, right? And then we go on something else, right? The famous line, I always make you do all the things that you hate doing. They have you do something like, activate like your mid back, right? I cannot do that, but I can flick out my jab.
Right.
I think I see that all the time with baseball players, right? If I have them do something else with their feet, right? Sometimes it's like, or soccer players doing something with their arm, right? It's like, you know, I think, again, some people are just more natural at something. The second component is that some people respond very well to exercise or stimulus or coaching. And then the last component is that the more practice that we have in it, we're naturally going to come better and better, right? I would say the people that you watch on TV, you know, just as a fan, that it's like, oh, they're moving on a different level, or they're competing on a different level, they probably have all 3 of those in their favor. They're naturally gifted. They respond really well to training, right? Without doing all the other stuff like weightlifting and all of that. And they had a lot of good reps, right? And I think that's, I know it's way more complex than that, but that's a simple explanation that again, going back to, just because they don't look your typical part, doesn't mean that they don't have that.
Well, for me, it's like, what work are they putting in? Not how are they doing it, right? Like now when I look at it, it's not about how you doing that. It's like, what do you do?
What do you do to do that?
Yeah, that's what I really ask you, like, bro, like, because it's not about that, because I fought at light heavyweight, and I definitely didn't look like no light heavyweight. I wasn't muscled up and everything, but I didn't care. That was the cards that was dealt, and that was the account. I had to be accountable for that. So I never went in looking like, oh, these are big guys. It was like, no, bro. Like,
the last thing that I want to add on that, because even like talking about you fighting at like heavyweight rank and stuff, I think from an athlete's perspective, at least talking to a lot of athletes, that's the question. Like, what did they do to do that, right? And if you do find out what they did, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of athletes would be like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
right? For sure, right?
Yeah.
But I think this is where I can share kind of my perspective, is that what works for someone might not work for someone else. Might do the complete opposite for someone else. And we see this with everything, right? And the simple thing, I'll let you chime in a second, is like, I always have this joke with like colleagues and stuff and my advisor and stuff. Let's say I had the magic formula to be the best MMA fighter. And let's say, I'm just going to use a simple example, but let's say like I had like all of these different components, and to be the best MMA fighter, the number had to equal like 50. Like you have to have all of these components equal to 50 if we had a long math equation. You know how many ways there is to make 50? 50 plus 0?
50, 49 plus 1, and it goes on.
Multiplication.
2 times 25, 50, 100.
Super complex formula.
There's many ways to get to 50.
There's many ways to get to 50. And I think that's the thing, is that we're going on some of our other conversations, but having the right people around you to help you to decide what formula works best for you, instead of just looking at someone else and copying what they're doing, I think that's the key to like understanding how they're doing it for them, but also having the insight enough to see, okay, these things I can definitely add in.
Well,
these things probably won't work for me, and then figuring out your own formula.
It just and bro, it's always come help. One thing that's helped me with being athletic, competing, just competing in general, it's just always self-reflection, bro. Self-experimentation, self-soothing, self-confidence. Bro, whenever I see something, I have a gym, bro, outside. I try and do it to see what stimulates me. And if it feels good, it feels good. Then they have a video you watch, you go, but look at here. Look at this. Look what you do. I go to you, like, I like this. And you're like, you can use that, bro. That's cool. Oh, like cross this way with the line. But you're put them in this angle because you're probably going to punch like this more. Not saying don't do it, right? But like, those things are important to me. I do have a belief in learning, like, and those are the things I take in, and that's my beliefs that I like be strong on, and I have the right people to guide me. And me and Max, we're the same striking coach, but he doesn't teach us the same striking things. We have we have platform, and we have a formula with things. We have the same type of cadence, but in the sense of how he teaches us. But it's a totally different formula and program between each of us. He's not trying to make me be Max, and he's definitely not making Max be. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all. He knows how to work with us. That's a team, right? Like.
And I think for anyone out there, right? I'll speak from the coach's perspective. If you're trying to make the athlete fit into an ideal mold of what you want, that's not going to work best for every athlete. I can tell you that hands down from experience. And from the athlete, don't try to replicate and copy everything that this person is doing, because it might not be the best for you. And I think the best coaches understand that and can give you perspective. And the best athletes, they know that I'm not going to copy everything of what this guy is doing, no matter how good.
Bro, I used to look up to all Vandalish, Shogun, all these guys back in the day. They sparred every day. No, I wasn't gonna do that for all my training, bro. Like, we did it at times where we was like, oh, bro, I don't need drill today. We just spar. Like, and then you learn, because you want to get better. You want to be good. You don't just want to. Like, okay, sparring's all good, but I'm just getting better at being tough. I need to get better at having skills, like football too, right? Like, there's quarterbacks that have to know that they can take a hit. They build that, but that doesn't mean they want it.
Yeah, there's so many things. We're trying to keep these short.
So
the last thing that I would say is like along those lines too. Like you as an athlete, me as whatever strength coach, rehab person, whatever. Yeah, we're constantly evolving. So like what we did like last year, it's way better now. You know, and
or it might be adjustments and different
adjustments. Yeah, so like, we're constantly evolving. So even like looking at something that we did last year, right? If there's a better way to do it, we need to evolve with the times too, along with everything else that we're saying. Find your own formula, but evolve that as well. There might be a better way to approach training, or a better way to improve so that we get whatever result faster and faster, right? So like, you know, don't be so, I guess that's my bottom line, is like, don't be so fast to copy other people. Take the components that are good. Don't be so rigid in how you're coaching people or how you're approaching training or whatever. Be within reason what makes sense. Be able to adapt and evolve with the times. And that's going to help you to figure out how to do your absolute best, right? And it might answer that original question of how we started. How do those athletes, right, the top 1%, how do they do what they do? Right? Because that's essentially what we want to do. We want to learn from what they've done and see how we can apply whatever works for us.
Yeah, I feel like that's what the coaches and the cornermen I have. Right? I'm able to apply things. I have a set of skills. I can beat to a different tune. And still get to the what's it called? Performing at our best.
Exactly. So anyway, if you like these, I mean we can go on and on, but if you like these, or just want to give some feedback, insights, again, we don't have all the answers. We're just having a conversation, just sharing perspectives.
I'm an idiot just talking.
But if you have any feedback, questions, anything, reach out to us. Put it in the comments below, wherever you're watching this, and we'll love to continue having these conversations, just sharing it with everyone out there. So stay tuned for more segments.
Thank you.
Hello.